Hello my anime lovers, today we are going to talk about Tonari no kaibutsu-kun. But before we begin, we invite you to join us until the end of the video as we will share some unique details of the anime. Shizuku Mizutani is apathic toward her classmates, only caring about her grades. However, her cool view of life begins to change when she meets Haru Yoshida, a violent troublemaker who stopped attending class after getting into a fight early in the school year. He's not much different from her, though he too understands little about human nature and does not have any friends. Much to Shizuku's surprise, he proclaims that she will be his friend and immediately confesses his feeling toward her upon meeting her. The story begins when Shizuku Mizutani is asked to deliver homework to classmate Haru Yoshida after he hasn't been coming to school since his first day of class. Having never paid much attention to the empty seat beside her, hence the Tonari part of the title until then. Although Shizuku is content to focus on studying and maintaining top marks, her one-track life is suddenly disrupted when she finds herself the abrupt target of Haru's affections. Mizutani is a bookworm and having high grades is her top priority. She's a work girl who has no friends because she studies all the time. She sits beside Yoshida Haru, who's a delinquent and rarely goes to school after getting involved in a bloody fight. She was asked to deliver some printouts to him, and that's how the story began. Yoshida Haru, who at first thought Mizutani was a spy, insists that they are friends. While Mizutani is on her way home from school, she was kidnapped by Haru and dragged her to some place just to show a stray dog he found by the river. That's where Mizutani mentioned not like dog specs and being called dry eyes by her classmates when she was young after not being affected by a rabbit's death. Mizutani, who realized that Haru's friends are only after his money, told him that she would rather have not friends than have friends like them. After finding out that his friends are only using him like she said, Mizutani, who feels bad after seeing his sad face, decides to reprimand his friends and provide Haru a shoulder to cry on despite Haru's being violent and treats everyone roughly. He then agrees to come back to school and confess his love for her. Mizutani confirms Haru and hugging him. But ever since Haru returns to school, he's been following her everywhere and distract her from study. And finally, she finds out that the person who has higher grades than her is Haru. After knowing that, he is the first-year speaker who did not show up during the ceremony, she became more hyped up than before and tries to study her ass off and beat him. The upperclassman takes her as hostage as revenge, and Haru's knowing the fact that she was taken, he tried to rescue her but ended up hurting Mizutani instead. Midterms come, and she finally gets to be at the top, but despite ranking first, she was not entirely happy. She decides to visit Haru to tell that she does not hate him, and they start hanging out again. Being forced by Haru to get manga, she decides to put her study aside and get one. He then steals a kiss from her. What? A kiss? Really? What's a great way to end an episode? A new member joins the cast, Natsume Asako, a clumsy and dumb girl, but she's really cute though. Her clothes just make her more charming. Her stupid act makes it more fun to watch too. And even though she's really looks silly, she's really quite dirty, literally. The scene where she said, "I'm sure you have noticed how cute I am," just right after barfing made me laugh so hard. Whoa, she really had the confidence saying that after barfing is front of them. After that kissing incident, it seems like Mizutani became more conscious and nervous around Haru. But it looks like it's an indication that she is already in love with Haru. Mizutani really is cute, how she gets embarrassed every time that scene pops in her head. Despite being violent and all, Haru sure loves animals. He would go far to hiding a chicken underneath by belly to save a chicken for the rain. He's really stupid who would hide a chicken in their belly, but if you think about it, Haru is really kind. Oh, I forgot to mention that another character joins the cast. He's a baseball player that goes with a nickname of Sasayan. After seeing him, I thought he will be in a love affair, but it seems I was mistaken. His only interest to Haru after all. Plus, I don't think he fits to be in a love triangle with Haru and Mizutani. I'd rather have a blonde guy. Mizutani finally confesses her feelings toward Haru. Whoa, that was rather fast compared to other shoujo animes. The character confesses their love at the end of the final episode, so this anime is quite different. I don't know what will be going on next, but I'm sure it will end well. Haru's love for Mizutani is really a different kind of love. Not the romantic way, and a hot guy appears who is possibly a twin of Haru might destroy Haru's and Mizutani relationship. This gets more interesting as an episode goes on. We continue from where Mizutani finally confesses to Haru. I was surprised that Mizutani would actually confess her feelings, but she took it back and told him it was just a lie. And to my surprise, Haru was glad that Mizutani was lying, even though she's really not. I was like, what? Haru's pet is finally accepted by the school, so they decide to build a chicken coop. Haru's and Mizutani was very happy since they'll be all hanging out in the weekend. It's a big deal from them since they don't usually do that kind of things since they don't have any friends before. I'm happy that they finally obtained what they've been looking for. The 4 other boys who have hurt Haru decides to have peace with him. I don't know why they had the urge to finally apologize to him, but oh well. I'm glad they got be friends again and they were able to complete the chicken coop. I was quite upset when I knew that Haru's love for Mizutani isn't really love. You know, the romantic way. Turns out that Mizutani was the one who fell in love with him, but she was okay with it as long Haru wants to be with her. I'm also happy that the 2 of them decide to start over. As for this hot guy, whose name is Yusan, he looks very like Haru, so we can assume that they are brothers or even twins. I do not know why Haru was reluctant when he received the message that Yusan is on his way, but seems like something happened between them, so he ended up staying at Mizutani's house, which made her father's very speechless. But sadly, nothing happened between them. Tonari no kaibutsu-kun never fails to amuse me. This episode was great and the introduction of the 2 new characters was smooth and engaging. And the anime's not dropping in quality at all. The episodes seriously get better and better. We all know that Haru spends the night at Shizuku's place. It's funny how Haru talks casually around Shizuku's father, even after spending the night at her house. We also discovered that the ghost that Haru was talking about was actually his little brother. We get to see Haru's smile a dozen of times, which is very cute. Because of that, Haru became very popular among the girls, and Mizutani finally gets the feeling of what it's like to be jealous. When them get to see the new characters, I don't know her name, but she really looked weak and fragile. I quite pity her for getting pushed around. Then Haru came to the scene, the guy who pushed the girl when flying, as Haru beats the crap out of them. And just like that, his reputation as a nice guy disappeared, though Mizutani came to rescue before getting caught by the principal. Alright, I really love how the two turned red after having both of their faces close to each other. I was like, oh, Haru should kiss her though. And seems like Mizutani became more honest than ever, and that's why I like about her. Alright, now we get to see Haru's brother Yusan. He's just as handsome as Haru, though I think Yusan is a bit hotter than him. Anyway, I have no idea why Haru keeps running away from Yusan. Seems like they're really not that close, I get. Anyway, as Mizutani was on her way home, she was dragged by Haru, who was surprisingly waiting in that area for the whole time. Haru's brother is a little weird, although the little brother's is more weirder. Sure made me laugh. As they talk about Yusan, Mizutani finally decides to let Haru stay and smash watermelons with her at her house. She then directly told him to go on a date with her. Shizuku felt even more determined to study when the delinquent Haru, who never went to middle school, gets a higher score in the test than her. Haru's not so sure about these plans for their first date. Yusan, Haru's mysterious older brother, comes to scope out Haru, who makes a quick exit. Haru gets the help of Chisaru, a girl who is a student president in another class. She recognized him for an early event where he stopped some older boys from bullying her. Haru gets the help of Chizuri, a girl who is a student president in another class. She recognizes him from an earlier event where he stopped some other boys from bullying her. Chizuru confirms that Shizuku has left and accompanied Yusan instead, leaving Haru to chase after them. Yusan doesn't reveal his real intentions to Shizuku until the end. After the talk about sweets, he reveals that their father wants Haru to return home, so that Haru may attend to school that their father will have more control over. Yusan, however, is in an empathy with Haru. He would be better off with Shizuku. Haru catches up to their pair and finally hears Yusan out after Shizuku's request. The pair leave after Haru agrees to never drop out of school. Shizuku worries about how much Haru has kept from her about his personal life. However, Haru opens up during their walk home and she feels very touched. The next day at school, Haru is approached by a shy Chizuru who thanks him for his action a couple of days ago. Haru may have taken Chizuru's apology of his stride, but Chizuru's expression is obvious to Shizuku's that her feelings for Haru are growing. Overall, Yusan seems to be such a Haru's clone, and it drives me mad looking at both these boys' same expressions. I also think Yusan comes across a bit creepy, regardless of whether his intentions are pure or not. In Haru's and Shizuku's class, Haru has taken the advice of Chizuru, who is supposedly class president because she wears glasses, and decides to don some spectacles. He doesn't get picked of any position on the class student council, leaving him feeling pretty down. During break time, Sasayan and Etsume discuss the girl they spotted yesterday, who was talking to Haru. Sasayan immediately tells about how Chizuru is smart and quiet and secretly considered cute by the boys, while Natsume thinks that Shizuku should be jealous and defend her man. Shizuku is not interested in Haru's courtship and exits the conversation. Haru is roaming around school when he spots Chizuru eating alone by herself on the steps. Much to his disdain, he finds out that being class president hasn't made her popular and she does not have any friends. His relaxed attitude makes Chizuru like him more, although she wonders his relationship with Shizuku when he said he likes her. Netsumu and Sasayan heard about Chizuru's loneliness and set up a club to find some friends for her. Netsuma seems to find poetic sadness in the scene. The club causes Shizuku, who had been dragged along, to fight with Haru's over one stage of time. Chizuru feels like she is causing a rift between Shizuku and Haru, especially since they seem to be close. However, she can contain her own feelings for Haru. Although she is trying to ignore Haru, Shizuku can't help splitting some remarks about feelings. Chizuru is embarrassed and awed by her rival blondness. Haru, thick-headedness, and replying to Chizuku's remark make Chizuru angry and she runs off. When Haru chooses to chase after her, Chizuru can finally admit that she is truly like Haru. At school, Haru finds that Shizuku is getting cooler toward him. Her need for studying is getting stronger, but his own feelings for her are growing. Sasayan and Etsume check in Mitsuyoshi and Yusan, but are told that Haru and Shizuku are dancing around their confessions. Natsume gets upset that Chizuru doesn't tell her about her feelings and is confirmed by Mitsuyoshi. The two decide to meet on the weekend to go to the library for Chizuku's purpose of study, but Haru thinks it is a date. Things come crash down when Shizuku realizes that Haru is upset with her, but she pointedly refuses to have a relationship. Shizuku tells him that her feelings for Haru were only brief, and that she had had too many chances to know how she truly feels. She takes back her early confession, leaving Haru very depressed. Overall, adding shy Chizuru to the mix hasn't made Chizuru any more of softer lead character. In fact, now that she feels that Haru's feelings will have another place to land, she appears to have given up their relationship altogether. I was expecting a flood of emotions from Shizuku, but she retracted confession of Haru was very cruel. My little monster, you will not be disappointed by the quality. The artwork is clean with colorful backgrounds that are visually pleasant without distracting focus from the characters. Oftentimes, the more dramatic points in the series are portrayed using mute colors in line with the shift in emotions. The use of simplistic, simply featureless art style to depict various emotions, anger, sad, overwhelming joy, embarrassment, frustration, etc., is used throughout the series, as is typical from many animes. These exaggerated emotional responses to rather trivial situations are what makes the scenes hilarious and memorable, delivering plenty of comedy alongside its theme of life, romance, and togetherness. My Little Monster provides an enjoyable experience for anyone looking for an easygoing anime that won't consume a great deal of time. With loyable characters and the ever-amusing social challenges that high school brings, there is plenty to keep the viewer engaged. The grounded nature of Slice of Life tends to make for less than thrilling stories, but the struggles that Haru and Shizuku face in trying to resolve the changing feelings provide a compelling enough arc in this short series. Knowing nothing about this series beforehand, I found that it hit most of the point that I expected, but it was pleasantly surprised at how much they delved into the characters' mindsets without utilizing excessive monologues of showing entire episodes of introspection. Anime characters tend to have a widespread problems with clearly expressing themselves, but seeing just how troubled Haru felt in being unable to connect with Shizuku in the way he desired made me really feel more him. As I said earlier, many of the characters struggle with loneliness, and it makes me for a thoughtful, though at times sad, experience. And this is all for today. I hope you liked the video and share it with your friends. Subscribe to our channel and activate the bell button to receive all the news videos we are making for you. Goodbye, my anime lovers!